Namaste, Sitaram. A pleasant good morning. Welcome to Rudraaya. I am your host, Nisha Sharma, and Rudraaya is being brought to you with the kind compliments of Rudraaya Mandir. And of course, our Mandir is located at 850 Tapscott Road, Unit 34 in Scarborough, with Tapscott and McNichol being our closest intersection. So today I have with me just saying hello to all our viewers. My dear Mausi Chano, who came to Mandir this morning at Rudraaya Mandir. We're finishing up our Shivratri Yagna, and Mausi would like to send greetings and to also share what her experience was this morning at Rudraaya Mandir with you, my dear viewers.
Well, what must I say? Jai Sitaram and happy Shivratri to each and every one. And I have no complaint. To be honest, when I come here, I come between my children, and the treatment is so good, the puja was so good, everything was well done, and I'm happy to be here. And every time it has something, I don't be all the time, but I'm happy to be here. And all the pujas was correct. Pandit Ravi reads so nice. When I reach by him, I feel I see my son here. and Nisha, a daughter, I have to say a daughter and a son, and everything is perfect. No complaint about nothing. Everybody treats you very good. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mausi, for joining us this morning on Rudraaya. And now we'll join our spiritual leader, Pandit Ravi Sharma, for our katha. Enjoy.
Both Mata, both wife, they speak to Gunanidhi. But do you think that he wants to hear of any words of advice like this? He says that, yeah, tomorrow. Guess what? We're not sure if tomorrow is going to come. And so this Gunanidhi, as time went by, he had to find means to fulfill all the desires that he had. Association, at times like these also, when you have funds, you'll have lots of friends. When you don't have money, you tend to have less. What he started to do, it is said that he began to take the utensils of the home. He began to steal the jewelry from his mother, from his wife, the jewelry that was given in wedding ceremony. He would go and he would steal it. He would go and pawn it and sell it to fulfill all of his desires. Taking everything. Father would come and bring Siddha, Dakshina. He would steal all of this. They begged and they begged and they begged of him that give up this evil ways. But this Gunanidhi, he didn't want to hear any of these words. It is said on one occasion that his mother's wedding ring, he came and he stole it. And the mother was well aware that he had taken it, and she begged of him, give it back. Gunanidhi went and he sold it to one of his gambling friends to fulfill these desires of his. And so what he gave it in such manner, Yajnadatta came and he saw a group of young men. Gunanidhi was not there, but he said towards these young men, why don't you find yourself doing that which is good? Why don't you go and aid? Look, Mandir is being built. There's so much work that be done in God's name. Why don't you come and help us? And so they said, are you asking us to help? Why don't you go and ask your child itself that? Devotees. And so this Yajnadatta, this sadhu, this holy man, he stopped back and he said, what did you say? He said, you're asking us to do that which is good. Why don't you go and ask your son? And so he was taken aback. But when he looked at the hand of one of the young men, he saw the same ring that he had given his wife long time ago when they had gotten married. And so he didn't see anything, because at times, sometimes we all have to zip our lip, especially when we see what is taking place in society. How can we, they say, don't call the kettle itself black. Look in your own garden first. How can we correct someone else when such and such is happening right in our own home, right under our nose, right under our eyes? How can we correct others? Devotees, we are in position like this. We are quick to give the best of all advice. Sometimes at our own, we are unable at times. That's why foundation has to be set forth. Foundation has to be set. And so, this Yajnadat, he comes to his hermitage, he comes home, and he said that, Dulahan, come here. I want to ask you a question. Where is your son, Gunanidhi? where's our son? He didn't say our son now this time. He said, where's your son? All right, my son wouldn't have done this, is what he said, but where's your son? She said, oh, he must have gone for water, you know. You're making preparation and puja, so he's probably gone for Ganga Jal. You know, it has to be gotten from far river, so he's gone from since morning. She started to make excuse upon excuse for this child. And she continued to make excuse. She said, oh, is it so? So we'll wait for him. She said, oh, you better continue your worship because I don't know how long he will be, you know. He wants to make sure that he doesn't get one type of water, but Gange cha, Yamuna chaiva, Godavari, Saraswati, Narmada, Sindhu, Kaveri. He wants to get 7 holy rivers water. He knows that worship, puja is going to be done, right, Rick? So he wants to get 7 holy rivers and he wants to bring it. He wants you to be pleased with him. That when he comes, you go ahead and do your prayer. You are there in meditation. You have so much to look after, making excuse upon excuse. And so then he said, oh, so it is. Let me see your hand. She looks at it. He said, where's the ring that I gave you, that you always wear in your hand? She said, oh, I have it on the dresser. He said, go and bring it for me. She begins to shake because she knows what's up. She said, oh, okay, hold on. She goes, spends some time, she comes back, and she says, oh, you know what? I don't know where I put it. I must have just misplaced it. Probably it fell upon her. He said, go and find it. She goes and she pretends to be looking. She becomes more scared because what is she supposed to say now? Then she comes back. She said, oh, I don't know. I was dusting this morning and I must have misplaced it. It is somewhere in the house. And so this Yajna Data, he continues. He begins to rebuke the mother of Gunanidhi. He says that, you know what? I know the truth. It is no use now hiding this from me. But how can you tolerate this? You should have told me this in the beginning. Perhaps we could have rectified this. And this is what happens sometimes in family life when one parent does everything and next one doesn't say anything. So it should be a joint effort. And both parents should know what is taken in the life of children, devotees. And so he begins to rebuke the mother. He said, this good for nothing son. Devotees, he felt ashamed. He said, I thought it was better if I didn't have a child. Because if I have a child who is supposed to follow this footstep, at least if he doesn't want to follow the footstep of being a priest, at least he can follow the pathway of righteousness. This is all. Devotees, when Gunanidhi came upon the home, the father began to rebuke Gunanidhi. Gunanidhi himself became most ashamed. Devotees, but he was so intoxicated that he walked out of the home. And as he walked out of the home, it is...
My dear viewers, I hope you've enjoyed this morning's katha. And of course, our dear greetings from our dear Mausi Chano. Mausi Chano is, you know, we are always so happy to have her here when she comes and she joins us in prayer at Maharudraaya Mandir. We'll now join our sponsors for some messages. If you're looking to buy, sell, rent, or invest in real estate, look no further. Terry Diaram, your #1 sales representative. Terry comes with a wealth of experience and a proven record in providing complete real estate solutions. Terry offers flexible commercial rates for sellers and is committed to providing the highest level of service to his clients. Call Terry now for a free consultation at 416-890-1005 or visit his website at www.royalcanadianrealty.com.
Omkar japa, Omkar japa, Omkar japa, Omkar japa. Janjal manamit Omkar japa, Omkar japa, Ram Ram Ram. पल पल चिन चिन घर करे निश दिन ओंकार जपा जंजल मन नित ओंकार जपा राम 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 रात समय की सुख वेला में संध्या की भूल गिदर जनी में रात समय की सुख वेला में संध्या की भूल गिदर जनी में रोम रोम से निकला तेरे ओमकार जपा राम 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 चंचल मन नित ओमकार जपा राम 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 गहरा सागर तूती नैया जीवन तरंगी ओम की भैया गहरा सागर तूती नैया जीवन तरंगी ओम की भैया पार लगा ओंकार जपा पार करेगा ओंकार जपा राम 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 चंचल मन नित ओंकार जपा राम 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 सार तत्व की खोज किए जा नाम सरस पिए जा सार तत्व की खोज किए जा नाम सरस पिए जा पार करेंगे ओंकार जपा राम 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 ओंकार जपा 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 चंचल मन नित ओंकार जपा राम 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 ओंकार जपा राम 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 ओंकार जपा राम राम
My dear viewers, welcome back to Rudraaya. I just wanted to extend a cordial invitation to you. Tomorrow after service, Maharudradev Mandir will be having a holy show. And now our holy show at the Mandir is always free. So please come out and join with us. Bring the children. You can come for service. And then shortly after lunch, we will be starting the holy program where we'll be having chow tal, a couple of dances, and some singing as well, some other additional songs. So please come out and join with us tomorrow. If you're not able to come for service, our program is going to start the holy show at 1 p.m. and we will conclude at 2:30 p.m. So please be sure to join us. We'll now join our own Dr. Sachin Ramkisoon for a health segment.
Sitaram and welcome to Health Corner. I am Dr. Sachin Ramkisoon, and today is the second episode in our series on heat-related injuries. Today we're discussing sun exposure and the recommended Canadian guidelines for protecting yourself in the sun. During the summer months, we are all eager to enjoy the warm outdoors as much as possible. Recently, the new Canadian Sun Safety Guidelines were published and highlights what we can all do to enjoy the warm weather safely. Sun exposure has some very positive effects, such as helping with vitamin D production, strengthening bones, boosting the body's immune system, and increasing our mood. However, overexposure to the ultraviolet rays of the sun can also have adverse health effects, such as sunburns, premature aging of the skin, cataract formation, and skin cancers such as melanoma. These ultraviolet rays are often reported as the UV index on weather forecasts. This UV index is a useful tool when it comes to sun protection, as it tells you the strength of the sun's UV rays for that day. The new guidelines are a set of common sense tools that you can use to reduce your exposure to the sun's damaging UV rays. The first is to check the daily UV index during the summer months. This will allow you to gauge how intense the sun's level will be and take necessary precautions. If the rating is 3 or over, then you should use sun protection or precaution. The second is to dress appropriately. It is now recommended that covering up with clothing is better at protecting your skin from the sun than anything else, including sunscreen. Wear a hat, long-sleeve shirt, and long pants if you are going out to protect your skin from the sun. There are even special materials that many summer clothes are made of that protect you from the ultraviolet rays of the sun. The next recommendation is that sunscreen be used whenever going out into the sun, and use a minimum of SPF 30 or above. This has been recently increased from the previous recommendation of SPF 15. It is also recommended to use water-resistant sunscreen whenever possible, since this tends to stay on the skin longer while sweating or going into the water. The fourth recommendation is to avoid the sun or use extra skin protection between the peak sun hours of 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. In Canada, this is typically between April and September. The next recommendation is to avoid any indoor tanning beds, since the amount of ultraviolet exposure can be up to 5 times what you would typically get in a typical afternoon. The last recommendation is to seek enough shade throughout the day if you have to be outside during peak hours. This means taking an umbrella, broad hats, or staying under shaded areas. These common sense recommendations are simple reminders of what we can do to reduce the cumulative skin damage from the sun. We should also remember that those that are most vulnerable to sun damage tend to be babies, young children, and the elderly. Extra precaution is recommended in these populations. Interestingly, a recent study has found that car side windows do not offer much ultraviolet protection, even when they are factory tinted. I hope this talk helps you enjoy the summer months more safely and gives you an overview of the Canadian Sun Safety Guidelines. Next week, we will conclude our 3-part series on heat-related injuries. Thank you for joining me on Health Corner, and I look forward to speaking with you next week on Rudraaya.
My dear viewers, we are at the corporate segment of Rudraaya, so I'll now like to introduce you to Lotus Funeral Home, Kamalji.
Okay, Panditji? All right, go ahead. Sitaram and Namaste. My name is Kamal Bardwaj, and I'm the owner of Lotus Funeral and Cremation Center. I'm also a licensed funeral director. Talking about death is not an easy subject, but it is something that we all have to deal with at some point in our lives. Some of us have loved ones that are elderly or have relatives that are not well. Today, I want to discuss some points about planned deaths at home. Many Canadians would prefer to pass away at home. For the point of this discussion, home could be your personal residence, a hospice, retirement home, or long-term care facility. Many times when a person dies at home, family and friends are not always well informed about what to do. For example, they may not know that the person who is not well has a wish for do not resuscitate confirmation form. This is a direction for paramedics or firefighters not to perform CPR of any sort. In many cases, Lotus Funeral is contacted instead of calling 911 because it is a planned death at home. When a person passes away in this circumstance, a doctor or nurse is called to pronounce the death, so that a medical certificate of death is issued for the funeral home to collect upon arrival at the home to transport. It is advisable for the family to contact the funeral home to let them know about the planned death so that information can be given in advance to make the situation more easily manageable when the time comes for the death. When there is a planned death at home, 911 does not need to be called as it can make the situation more confusing. If you want to learn more about how to start the process for a planned death at home, please contact me directly. Always remember, Lotus Funeral and Cremation Center is open 7 days a week and 24 hours a day to serve your needs. There are large rooms for seating for 500 people to smaller rooms as well. The crematorium is located within the building, so we never have to travel to another location for the cremation witnessing. The crematorium room is not restrictive to any particular number of people to accompany the casket for the cremation. Lotus Funeral can supply all the puja items as well as a kirtan group if required. We are centrally located, so we serve families from the east and the west. We have ample parking and a one-story facility, so it's easy to come in and out of the building. For more information, please call me from the telephone number on the screen. Thank you for watching Rudraaya, and see you next week. Sitaram.
Life is beautiful, but death is inevitable. I realized this when my dad passed away. So much pain, and amidst all this, the worry of arranging a funeral. Thankfully, in all this, Kamal stood by me. From the viewing to the cremation, he arranged it all at one location. Once someone is gone, they don't come back. But Lotus Funeral Home knows how to give them a respectable farewell.
Lotus Funeral Home. Life must be celebrated.
होली खेले रघुबीरा यवद में होली खेले रघुबीरा 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 होली खेले रघुबीरा यवद में में होली खेले रघुबीरा होली खेले रघुबीरा यवन में होली खेले रघुबीरा रामा के हाथे झलक पिचकार रामा के हाथे झलक पिचकार अरे रामा के हाथे झलक पिचकार रामा के हाथे झलक पिचकार अरे लक्ष्मण हाथ अबीरा ओ लक्ष्मण हाथ अबीरा यवन में होली खेले रघुबीरा लक्ष्मण हाथ अबीरा ओ लक्ष्मण हाथ अबीरा यवन में होली खेले रघुबीरा होली खेले रघुबीरा 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 यवन में होली खेले रघुबीरा रामा के हाथे ढोलक बल सो है 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 लक्ष्मण हाथ मजीरा ओ लक्ष्मण हाथ मजीरा यवन में होली खेले रघुबीरा लक्ष्मण हाथ अबीरा ओ लक्ष्मण हाथ अबीरा यवन में होली खेले रघुबीरा होली खेले रघुबीरा 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 यवन में होली खेले रघुबीरा रामा के पीछे चलक पट पगिया रामा के पीछे चलत पग पगिया रामा के पीछे चलत पट पगिया रामा के पीछे चलत पग पगिया सीता के पीछे लचीरा ओ सीता के पीछे लचीरा यवन में होली खेले रघुबीरा ओ सीता के पीछे लचीरा ओ सीता के पीछे लचीरा यवन में होली खेले रघुबीरा होली खेले रघुबीरा 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 यवन में होली खेले रघुबीरा बोलो बोलो अयोध्या
But viewers, thank you for tuning in this morning with us. I hope you've enjoyed today's program, and I know many of you say to us that, wow, that half an hour flies so quickly because you are enjoying the program so much. So we would like to remind you that tomorrow at Maharajadiv Mandir, if you're able to, please join us for a holy program. It is free and it starts at 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. So come out and bring the children and join with us for 2019 Holy Celebration. We'll also be having chowtal and a few dances. So would also like to remind you that coming May 4th is our annual spring show at the Pickering High School. So throughout the next couple of weeks, I'll be giving you information on that show. Please keep the date. That's May the 4th at the Pickering High School, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So we'd like to thank our kind sponsors at Maharajadiv Mandir, as well as our executive producer Gari Khan for making Rudraaya possible. Until we meet again next week, have a blessed week. Namaste.
Om Namah Shivaya.